This is his first Mythic plus 20. I guess maybe as a healer. I don't know if it's like literally his only ever one, but yeah, this is a dungeon that we have done a lot. So we know a lot about the potential dangers in here. We are looking at a healing point of view. So anybody out there who is a healer, feel free to chime in more. I am not playing a healer much in the last few years, but it was my main for a long time. But yeah, Resto Shaman is always something interesting. I do like seeing it in Mythic Plus simply because there is a lot of potential saving you can do, and we failed to do that right out of the gate. So the health bar is a little weird. We kind of have them on the bottom of the screen there. I talk about UI copiously in these videos, but that seems very far away from where I would say is ideal. You normally want to have them pretty much in the center of the screen, but offset so you can still see the center of the screen and them at the same time. So, yeah, potentially something to think about if you're having trouble. Like, look at how far the mouse has to move from the actual healing of the player to the targeting of the mob to put Flame Shock on. That doesn't seem ideal. But we did wipe to the first pack, we did wipe to busting. Now, obviously, not ideal, but yeah, I mean, we could drop Spirit Link. It's pretty much a great equalizer. You've heard me say this many, many times over the years if you watch this channel. I regard Spirit Link as the best single CD for defensive purposes in Mythic Plus from any healer, and I don't really even think it's close. As long as you have the tank in the Spirit Link, whoever else is in the Spirit Link cannot possibly die. They would have to be taking enormous amounts of damage, and the tank would have to be also potentially very, very low or something like that. It's very good with Blood DK because obviously we have enormous amounts of health, so and the ability to heal up. Like we'd get hit with the Spirit Link, then heal it back up, kind of thing. But yeah, definitely a good jack of all trades character. I feel like Resto Shaman's not the strongest right now, but it can do good damage. We're not really showing that off in the footage. But yeah, it's definitely something that Resto Shaman should shine at. The whole acid rain and free lava burst thing should be contributing a lot of potential DPS compared to other healers. And I like the fact that they can do it all at range, which is, good and bad, I think. But yeah, Resto Shaman, the original utility bot, like they had so many things when nobody had anything. AoE stun. Now they have a knock up as well. They have obviously the original healer interrupt, which is a melee length CD. And yeah, I mean, so many things more. They have all kinds of abilities now with, and also, things like Rock Ellie too, which should go, shouldn't go unnoticed. But yeah, it looks like, it's hard for me to tell exactly where we're handling dispels, but I guess it's probably just part of that same frame. And my first opinion, like my first glance opinion on this is like it's so freaking small. Is that normal to play with that small and the space in between them? I feel like out of the gate you would just immediately improve your play if you just filled the gaps, right? Like just can make them taller so there's no gaps and you probably will have infinitely easier time clicking them and even if you don't move them, right? I don't know. You guys tell me. Healer setups. I feel like healer UIs are like, UIs in general get a lot of talk, and every time we do one of these reviews, we always end up with the situation here where we have like talk about the UI more than we have the content. But the healer UI, I feel like, is the one that you want to talk about that on. Tank UI is like, oh, do you have Plater? Okay. Are you tracking vampiric blood? Okay, great. But healer UI, you're clicking on the UI. Like, it's so important. You know what I mean? But so we actually have oh, I just realized we have a prop paladin and 2 demon hunters. So he actually is upset with the comp. I think I'm 90% sure this is his key. Is this the guy? Wait, is this the same guy who sent me the Blackrook Hold 17? Wait, is it? I think, I think this might be the same guy. Look how small the chat is. You can barely even see the chat. Well, you literally can't see it because the aspect ratio. But anyway, yeah. Okay. So, I mean, I know where the problems come in. Most of the dungeons is going to be pretty easy. This is a tyrannical week, the week that just passed, pretty much, and it can be healing intensive because of busting. I feel like busting is not hard anymore. It's a lot easier than it used to be, but I don't really know if every healer is going to agree with me on that. Obviously, I'm talking about a Blood Death Knight perspective, so probably not going to get a lot of agreement. Especially on Fortified Week, though. I feel like it can be really bad, but Tyrannical Week, I don't know. I think the big mistake a lot of people make is they don't dispel. You know, a lot of stacks are coming. Like we had this issue a couple weeks ago when we did the Everbloom pull where we pull all the flowers onto the boss, right? The healer dies and he doesn't dispel him. So he doesn't dispel anybody. So we had 10 stacks, which is obviously bad, but we had 10 stacks and nobody gets a dispel. We also had an evoker. So like I feel like, yeah, just dispel yourself as the healer and then you're good no matter what. Or use a major defensive, like if you're a paladin or a shaman, use big defense and then dispel the weakest or something. I don't know. I don't really feel like it's that complicated in Affix anymore. But we are a pretty conservative route through here. I mean, it's only a 20 and it's not a fortified key. So I would definitely, if I was the tank, I would want to see more conservativeness. But yeah, you probably can't really see it, but like basically contributing. I'm not really sure though, because we have 2 damage charts on the screen and they both seem to be happening. I don't think either of them is overall. So maybe that's some kind of bug on the UI, but yeah, basically contributing no DPS, even though we're doing like super conservative pulling on a non-fortified week. Seems like we're kind of not really. I mean, obviously this is his first 20, so you got to give a pass for that. He's a little nervous, maybe drinking a lot here. We see that boss is coming up though, I suppose. So yeah, definitely want to see more utility being used, more interrupting, more utility in terms of disruption, especially right here. Tons of disruption Resto Shaman has right now. This is very, 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 very dangerous trash. This is probably the most dangerous trash in the game in terms of just pure damage to the others, that whole hallway into here. So please, 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 if you're playing a healer and you have an interrupt, please use it on cooldown there. Use anything like Cap Totem, the knockup, anything else that we have to disrupt the mobs. Any healer should be doing that. It's going to be crucial. It will save your life. And if you're doing it on a 20, you'll get used to it for higher keys when you potentially get there. So this fight seems to be a little bit complicated to heal. I've never healed it, obviously, but I've been told that if you tank it in a certain way, the thing always bounces to the closest player. So if the tank's in the middle and then everybody forms an even box around the tank, it will always jump back to the tank, which will substantially lower the amount of damage the group takes. Because I think it only jumps 6 times total. So if 3 of those times hit the tank instead, presumably not dangerous on the tank. I've never gotten to do it because it's a pug, but not like it's going to apply in this 20 pug either. But I don't know. Seems like you can probably do it as a healer, just outrange it and make sure that you can always heal. Maybe, I don't know. Somebody dead though. The warlock's going down. This is a kind of a complicated phase and another one that you probably want to prioritize interrupting. It looks like it's a dangerous phase, but it's really not. If you just interrupt the casters, then nobody will get slowed. That's what kills people in this phase. It's the slow. If you get slowed, you get hit by the puddle and you die. So as a Resto Shaman, again, stun them, interrupt them, and probably don't take any damage in that phase. Now, Bloodlust is up right now. It's available, that is. We don't use it. Now, I'm not sure if it's a good idea or not, but on the higher keys, this does feel like a dungeon that you do want to lust on cooldown on fortified weeks. I've yet to really decide if I think you should lust on tyrannical weeks 2 on cooldown. If you lust on cooldown, you're going to lust on things that are not bosses multiple times, 3 times really. And is that a good idea? I don't know, to be honest, but you will definitely have lust for the last boss. And that's the one that I feel like you need lust on the most. The other 3 bosses in here are not like lust dangerous. Like they do not need lust to die. They're maybe hard to survive, but outside of the totem boss, like yeah, you could try to lust there too. You might be able to time it out to be able to lust both that boss and the last boss if you do something special. At least on fortified week that does not work that way, but I bet on tyrannical week it may. So something to keep in mind here is Resto Shaman. You have the ability to do it. Not going to come into play here, but sitting on lust for multiple minutes. Yeah, I don't think the second boss really needs it. I don't look at that boss and be like, oh, that's definitely a lust boss. I mean, the room fills up, yes, but people have gotten really good at handling that mechanic. And I guess, tanking it as well, because it doesn't really seem like there's any real danger there. As long as you, as the tank, kind of stand in between the players and the mobs and constantly AoE, they're fine. They don't even have to stop DPSing. So super, a little bit of a quick pull there. That guy throws out the shields. I don't blame him. We're lusting on the pull here. just keeping all the puddles together. That's the goal. You just want to make sure you're stacked up. We're a little loose. Not really loving that. And yeah, see, unfortunately, that's exactly what happens. Now, that's not a big deal. Like I said, it really doesn't matter, but it makes it so much easier if you keep everything stacked up. In fact, we actually took a tick of the shadow damage there because of the poor stacking. So now we have 3 that are like 5 yards away from each other when they spawn. We don't want that. We want them ideally directly on top of each other so everything hits them all equally, all 3 at the same time. But they ended up dying together again, so just got to stack up, and we do it this time. Really, the first 2 are the ones that matter because after this, it expands to such a degree that one half of the room is basically blocked out. And that third set can be very complicated because it'll spawn the puddle during the movement ability, like movement of the mechanic. So here it comes, you're going to see it. Well, we also have entangling, which is unfortunate, but you see the ads are spawning and the stack is happening. And we're going to flub that a little bit. Well, no, that's actually solid. You basically want to put the stack in the new kite path so they can all potentially be together. And that's exactly what we do. So good work on the tanks part, potentially DPS part as well. But yeah, again, you probably can't see it, but yeah, looks like regardless, the chart is showing 9,000 DPS. I know I may talk about it too much, but that's really bad for a healer with Bloodlust. And I think it doesn't come into play here. Like I said, like it's whatever. You guys are probably nervous. He's trying his best the first time he's healing it. But that's got to, I don't know. I get really nitpicky about this, and it's hard for me not to because like you see this tank right now he's in danger, but like you can look at this guy's health bar throughout the screen, like throughout the fight. It's like he does not need any healing. So right now, look at you're spamming chain heal. All 5 people are at full health. Did you see that? 5 people at full health and he's healing. You're AFK. I mean, that's just, it sucks to say it, but it's just the truth. Like, just from the game's perspective, you're pressing buttons that don't do anything. So that's the time you DPS. And, even just keeping up Flame Shock, I think, and the Lava Burst, I think that's easily probably 20k DPS now, especially during Bloodlust. And you'd be surprised how, like, I mean, just add up the numbers at the end of the dungeon, see the timer, and think about what it would be like if you did, like on that fight, he did 7%. Well, actually, no, we don't have the percentage on there. That's 7k. Either way, yeah, just say you did 5% of the damage in that group. Imagine if you did 10% of the damage of that group, throughout the whole dungeon. That's adding minutes to the key. And, at this level, you're probably not in that situation where that's a problem, but just something to keep in mind. I always got to bring it up whenever I talk about healing, unfortunately. Okay, so we are going to do the pull that I normally do here. I really like this pull. Paladin, I like this a lot here, especially as Paladin, because there are lots of casters. It then creates really good pulling on the other side, which I think probably a lot of people are doing this way. This is actually the first time I've seen anybody tank this. It's not me, so I'm trying to figure out if he's got any additional stratagems. Looks like he's going to run up here, hopefully grab that. No, he's not going to get that pack. See, the whole point of doing that is so you can get that other guy into this pack, because it's a lot more efficient to do those 2. It's like 2, 2, and 2 instead of 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, which is basically what it plays out to. But those mobs are pretty dangerous. Those mobs actually are not interruptible, but they can be stunned or knocked up whenever they cast, and that cast does a lot of damage. So again, on fortified weeks, definitely want to make sure that you are stopping them as a Resto Shaman. You have plenty of options, and it's going to be crucial. Like if you get a good stop, basically, if you like right when the guy pulls them in, if you stop them from casting, you'll guarantee that everybody lives. A lot of the times people die when the guy pulls you in, because then everybody's kind of scrambling, not paying attention to their health, and especially you're not really able to heal a ton on the way out, So that's the time. Basically, get pulled in, drop cap totem, walk away. Now let's see how we do this next. So again, this is, I just, in my opinion, he's combining it very poorly. Is he going to pull those 2? No. Okay, so this is like super slow to do this. This will absolutely just suck the life out of this hallway. It's pretty dangerous, to be honest. This hallway is very dangerous. So if you have the luxury of doing it this way, you should. But it's just really like we're just fighting 2 mobs that don't do anything right now. So this is a tight timer. This is one of the tighter timers. And especially if you don't pull aggressively, it can be very tight, even on like somewhat lower keys. Like I've seen people talk about 23s and 4s, not being able to upgrade them. But yeah, now we have a very interesting boss coming up. Bloodlust will not be up. So I think, yeah, I think if we lusted when I said, it would probably be up for this fight. And then as you see, we have 20 minutes. We're 20 minutes into the dungeon. So yeah, we could easily have lusted another time. Like it wouldn't even be, yeah, it would be very easy to lust another time. And that would be at the boss. So yeah, I think even on this level, you want to do it. I think you want to just lust on CD here. The first two bosses just aren't dangerous enough to warrant necessitating it. So like at any specific time. So you can easily just throw it on CD and then you'll have it here in a good spot, it looks like. Now, again, these are the mobs I was talking about. You see that psionic pulse cast. You can stop that. We're just kind of letting it go over and over again. I really feel like I haven't seen Cap Totem used once. I'm trying to look at other things, but I don't feel like I've seen that used once. Or Healing Rain for that matter. I don't know anything about Resto Shaman Healing, but these spells are not getting used to as expected. Okay, so we're gonna drink up. This is a big play, guys. I'm gonna tell you this strat here as a tank. Solo totem. Do not kill the totems. Obviously, you can do this on a 20. Okay, it's get pretty dangerous, I'm sure, on a tyrannical on higher keys. I didn't try it this week because it was easy. Like the fight is hard, but the timer was easy. So I was like, why bother? We're gonna upgrade this key as long as we don't wipe. Obviously, we have an opportunity to wipe if you try to do it. But as Blood DK, you can AMS. Obviously, Pally and Vengeance are very good at this too. They're also they're all very tanky in general. So regardless of if you can AMS, the totem does magic damage as well as physical. From what I can tell, I'm not exactly sure how that plays in, but you definitely get hit by nature damage here. So best strategy I think for that is to just move the boss far away from the totem and probably type communicate. But yeah, no, that's pretty much it. I mean, this fight is obviously very hard on higher levels because the debuff needs to be dispelled on CD and it actually goes out faster than the cool. I don't know if it goes out faster each time or something, but people were telling me that after a while you get two, so you can't dispel them instantly. Or you get two within 8 seconds, I guess. So you can't dispel them instantly, which is unfortunate. But yeah, as a healer, probably one of the harder fights, also one of the harder tank fights, but I do think you just brace for impact on this fight as a tank and just play through it because it's so much faster. If you look at how much health these totems have and then count how many totems you killed in the kill of the fight, you're adding like multiple, like tens of millions to the fight, Now obviously you're cleaving, but yeah, in general, I think it's the right choice. So get used to doing that now and encourage other tanks to do it because I think this is a big strategy that's easy to do and does save a lot of time. It probably saves like at least 30 seconds, maybe more on this fight. Just gonna eat that fear. 5 people. Is that four? 4 people eat the fear. I think it does damage, so I don't know about doing that. Now, as many thrones do, we are going to fall apart at the end. So I'm gonna tell you guys now. This is a disband, and I don't really know, what we can say about it. Let's just go ahead and watch it. How it plays out. As always, this last hallway pain in the ass, in my opinion. I hate it. I think this is my least favorite like segment of trash in the game right now. Totally unacceptable if you ask me. Blizzard should never have added this to Mythic Plus. But people get around it pretty easily, so no use crying over spilt milk, as they say. But yeah, definitely, if it was up to me, this kind of content would never be featured. I think this is purely the fault of the Cataclysm decision to pick a Cataclysm dungeon. You have dungeons that are not made for time or speed or, any type of go fast mentality. And here you see it in full display. We have mobs that make pulling the whole hallway impossible. Like literally that just you just cannot pull this hallway in bulk. And that's bad for speed, but it's also very dangerous. They did nerf the actual danger part of it, but yeah. So probably another great one for Healing Rain and getting ready for Spirit Links. If people do pull aggressively, again, you have the get out of jail free card. There it is right there. Great use. Little unneeded, but 16 stacks we end up with, so that's the right choice. Use it there regardless. The get out of jail free card, ultimate spell. You will never have a better AoE defensive CD in the game than Spirit Link Totem. Diva Aura, whatever it's called, Aura Mastery. I never remember what it's called, but also very good. But this is just better because it can redistribute health off the tank, who should have twice the health pool, especially if you have Vengeance or Blood, and you will never have it. There's just no way to die. If you have all 5 people in it, there's just no way they can die. So it's basically a little cheat code during potentially the hardest content in each 3 minutes. And, using it on CD is advisable too, because it's a really, really good damage reduction. Like if you're 100% sure, like on this pack, it's pretty good to use. But, it's been used. But like if you just had it here, you should just throw it down, because the likelihood that somebody gets unfairly targeted, like 3 of them on one player, well, guess what? We're good. Oh, now here's a big mistake. You hung back too far here. This is a huge mistake. We might wipe to this. This is pay attention. This could be big. Looks like we're probably going to get away with it though. But you hung back too far. The mobs come up right before the pack of the Gill Goblins, like about 4 yards prior to it. 4% mana. We got 6 stacks. Yeah, this is something. How you're able to save this. Resto Shaman actually solid as fuck. This is impressive. I get it. We're not doing a 25 fortified, but still, this is low. People are low. Okay. Yeah, man, I'm satisfied. Resto Shaman looks good, man. I really like it. And we didn't skip anything here. We have 7 minutes for the last boss. So obviously we know what happens. We can talk a little bit about it. Again, you guys tell me, because I do not play healer or DPS. This fight is basically nothing as a tank. I don't really have to do anything. What I get to do is take a big magic hit and then laugh at the guys who are basically making the fight harder for me. So these guys got happy feet. You can already tell. In some big rush, we got 7 minutes. Well, now we have 6 minutes, but Bloodlust, eating up, good choice. Getting food buff. It's a hard fight, but yeah, definitely trying to get Bloodlust on the pull here and just pump some damage right now. This is the time. Getting a little bit of damage in here is going to really help the phase. And but yeah, damage immediately gets high. You see people going low, and then this is the issue here. So I don't really know how this is meant to be done, but they don't do a good job with it, seemingly. So I've been told a variety of things, that you want to kind of stutter step with it. Do not just run. Like if you ran in a straight line, you wouldn't do anything with it. Then I've been told the opposite. You do not want to stay in the puddles any longer than you have to, because it does damage too. So I don't know the answer. I've never done the mechanic once in my life. I don't think this mechanic existed in the other version of the dungeon. But yeah, as we see here, just pretty much terrible, terrible, terrible placement puddle placement. We actually do soak it better than you would think, though. I think they did add some leeway to this since the first time we saw this. But yeah, as we see, falling behind big time on healing, and this next mechanic is going to cause havoc. Because now we got mechanics spread out, healers spread out. This is probably a really bad fight for Resto Shaman, actually, now that I think about it. But I do think you need to be ready. You see how we're kind of just standing there, not really, I don't know. It gets the job done, I guess, but it's just going to gradually get more and more sloppy. Now, I'm actually surprised. You'd think 30% here, we're done. Like, this should be an upgrade. But it is not. And just keeping the puddles together, I think, is like, I don't know why people don't do that. Oh, wait, did the tank just die? Hold the fuck on. I did not see that. Oh, yeah, okay, the tank died. Whoa. Okay, that guy just sucks. This is like one of the easiest fights. I mean, I don't know about Prop Pally, but come on, that's bad. Oh, and then we're like, what are we doing now? Wiping? We trying to wipe? I guess so. Did somebody say wipe? Yeah, wipe and reset. Bro, there's not enough time for that. You should have stuck it out. You would have killed the fight. Hold on a second. What was that? How low was the fight? 20%, I guess. I mean, the tank can solo it, no? This is a bad call. I'm not gonna say that with too much conviction, but you got 3 people alive with 20% health on the boss. It's possible to upgrade that key right there. Oh, and you onk there. What is that? Jeez. Tough times here at Throne of Tons. That's an interesting ending to this dungeon. I'm pretty sure you can finish that with 3 people. It's tough because then the ads keep coming. But 20% health on that boss is not high. Now everybody's running back. There's just no time though. Like, yeah, that one way or the other, the key is no longer upgraded. You're not gonna kill this boss in under 3 minutes with Bloodless on CD. It's just not gonna happen. So tough choice. Yeah, I do have to say that was a terrible call, but I don't know. It was a bad call because you're not upgrading the key no matter what, so you should try. It may be a bad call also because you're wrong and you can still upgrade the key with that strategy in place. I don't know the answer to that. I'm pretty sure I could solo it with 1 DPS and a healer alive for 20%. But considering that guy died as a tank, I don't know. It's a good question. Good clearing there though. Like, yeah, keeping these together is big, and I think we're doing a better job. But Puddles kind of, I just don't like seeing that. I feel like you're caught off guard by it. Do you feel like that? I feel like when the water comes out, you're like, wait, what do I do with this? Like, it doesn't last long, but you need to be in that rhythm of this fight. I feel like if I was tanking it, or if I was doing something other than tanking it, I feel like that would be crucial. The rhythm of the fight is so big. This reminds me of like a raid fight, like not any one specific, but like you see how much damage we take from lingering in there because we're just not in the rhythm of the fight. This reminds me of a fight that, like an old school raid fight where there's not a lot of mechanics, but every time they come out, they're lethal. So you need to know they're coming out and they're going to be on you before they come out. And if you react to them, you die. But if you what happened? I don't even know. If you proactively do something, you will live. But yeah, obviously this is completely fucked at this point. And it's partially, it's hard to put blame on any one thing because I think probably everybody's also struggling. But you see how flexible a 20 is. Like, they actually are not wiping to that. Healer dies, Puddles are getting fucking eaten by the water, and nobody dies to that with the healer down. Oh, that call really just, man, makes me scratch my head, man. The paladin says, why drop it on top of me? Yeah, I hate when that happens too, bro, but unfortunately, did you see the room? Like, it's not really any other option. So yeah, I think, it's just about being calm and trying to be proactive. Do not react to that. Are we going to do a third poll? Must be because we're still, but yeah, we're going to do a third poll. Is anything said? What are we invising? What is this? So this is the normal strategy that I would try to employ. You can try to invis here. That paladin's like, yeah, we're not doing whatever this weird shit is. I don't know what these guys are even doing. They're just like hugging the right, like if that's going to skip stuff. I guess it skips a couple of them. Yes. The guy says, you need to tend them away from me and cluster them tight. I don't know why people don't do this. I don't know why people don't just run them to the back. Has anybody ever seen that done, and is it not viable? Because I've never seen anybody try to do that. The guy says, whoever the demon hunter is with the clearing thing, please focus more on clearing and less on damage when you have it, which is a funny comment because there's two damage dealing demon hunters. So that guy can't even figure out who he's talking shit to. Stack with the other cleaner and move around the boss. And like I said, it's just a little bit of everything. But I know that they expand, but I feel like if, as the healer, you just drop, it doesn't matter though, because they get cleared. The first puddle set gets cleared every time. But it's just, to me, it feels like if you just drop this on the edge of the room, then you don't even need to worry about it, right? I don't know why that doesn't get done. I guess just because the room is big, far away, and it's a big DPS loss, but I expected to see that when the first few weeks of this fight, I thought for sure you were going to see people running these puddles away. Because stacking them under the boss is like, that's a fucking swag move, don't you think? Like, see how long it took you to react there? That was almost a full second. And again, it's not causing too many issues, but like that's gonna add up. But anyway, yeah, the whole like, here, let's drop this shit under the boss, bro. We're pro. We're gonna get rid of it now. Like that's like a power move, right? Like what? To choose to do that, it's like, huh? Yeah, I don't know. You see how much danger it is? Dropping them on each other as well is part of the problem. That guy says again, right on top, you're blind as fuck. It does suck. I fucking hate that when the tank is like when I'm the tank and somebody just covers me with it. It's really annoying. But yeah, this fight is just kind of not possible without doing that mechanic. And it's just hard. So I don't know. I don't know how much, you could improve on, but definitely working on being more proactive. Yeah, definitely needs to happen. Guy says dropping the main mechanic on top of me with plenty of space. That guy's really I don't necessarily blame him, but it's like, bro, did anybody wipe to that? I don't think so. But yeah, you guys let me know, man. I don't play a healer, so you guys can comment on the actual healing part of things. I'm sure there'll be plenty of comments. But in terms of strategy, I think, we had a pretty poor strategy to the dungeon. Like we got away with it because it's a 20, but that is not an impressive strategy throughout the dungeon, in my opinion, on anybody's part. Especially, and then inviting two of the same class is just. I think this is his key based on the comment he made. He's like, two melee never gonna work in this week for some reason, but don't think that has anything to do with it really. It's just two demon hunters. It's like we don't gain anything from having that, and the one guy is just way worse than the other guy. That guy's name is ha 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 ha. So anyway, let me know what you guys think. I hope you guys have enjoyed, and thank you for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next one.